This is the 2026 Gen AI Tierlist. I'm James. If you're new here, I've got 20 years experience in construction and tech, and I'm going to be going through some of the hottest tools of 2026 in terms of Gen AI, what they do, how we use them as a company, and then where they rank essentially in terms of S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier. So without further ado, let's get started. Kicking it off, Daale, I would say, hasn't really broken the market, so I would say is a D tier product. It's pretty good for the text to image generation. I know a lot of people use the light version of it because the token consumption is pretty low, but definitely is not the front runner in that text to image generation, and certainly we've had problems using it actually within my team. So Clawdbot is definitely S tier. Clawdbot, if you go to your local Apple store and find out you don't have a Mac Mini available, then it's probably because everybody who is using Clawdbot is buying them up as fast as possible. So basically Clawdbot is the first time you've been able to basically create an AI agent offline, which essentially can work 24 hours a day and be so general that you can program it to do anything essentially. So for us, we run them on a Mac Mini, and basically we use Telegram to chat with it essentially, and it can do certain tasks. So reply to emails, do research, sort things out. If you saw my latest video, we used it on some expenses receipts where we sorted those out and then generated an automation to create a big Excel file and use Claude code. So really good. I just use it because I like to offload things and do it as soon as it happens. So really cool. If you've got a spare computer kicking around, even if you haven't, you can run it on your own machine if you're not worried about it looking everywhere. But filing, admin, interfacing, starting a project, capturing requirements, those types of things. Clawdbot, cool, and it's open source as well, so definitely S tier. Firefly, I would say, is B tier. It's Adobe, it's expensive, it uses all of the image and video generation models out there. Because we are obviously a content creator as well, we do have the Adobe subscription. So when we're using tools like VO or tools like Sora, we are using it through Firefly because obviously we've purchased those tokens within our subscription. But I think if you're a large organization and not operating in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong has a restriction on Google, you're probably better to use the native tool rather than using Adobe. So that's why it's a B tier. It's pretty good, but it's a good proxy to the latest models, but it's more costly, and depending on where you are in the world, it's a good way of using the models that are not available in the local market. But if you have the file or have the local models available to you, I would not use this. I would use the native one. Copilot, probably D tier. I've just realized both OpenAI tools are on the bottom rung, but I would say Copilot is the gateway to AI for large organizations, and it's been really successful for Microsoft. In terms of its features, they are relatively weak in comparison to the other tools we're going to talk about today, but it is a good first step. And if you're already an Office 365 user within your organization, it's a no-brainer. You might as well go with Copilot. But I think if in 2026 this is what you're using as AI, or as your AI strategy is to use Copilot in 2026, be careful because the rest of the tools are better in the market, and this one is a particularly expensive one. So yeah, good tool, but not cutting edge and not future proofed in my opinion. So let's move on to the next one. So Vibecode, I would say, is A tier. So Vibecode is a tool. Actually, you can now build applications on your mobile device as well, which is really useful. But I would say it is good for very more simple applications, bad for more feature-rich applications, I would say. So if you've got a really complicated product description or product requirements, then Vibecode may not be the best tool to develop that application. But if you are a beginner and you want to create something really simple, like a timer or a I don't know, like a search agent or a chatbot, then basically Vibecode is super simple. You can do it on your phone, and it actually has the capability to get it onto the App Store. So I would say good tool, pretty cheap. You can almost use it for free, and yeah, I think the company is a good company. So yeah, we like Vibecode. It's opening up application development for non-technical people. So Apify, I'm going to say, is an A tier product. All cards on the table. Our company is affiliated by Apify. We use it in almost every single automation, whether it's for marketing or construction or finance. It is an amazing tool for basically scraping the internet and creating data sets that you can use as part of your AI automation. So for instance, I used this one most recently when we wanted to do some competitor analysis and make sure that the content which one of the companies we're working for is current and ahead of its latest competitor. We use Apify essentially to basically scrape the data or the publicly available data and use it as part of that workflow, so we can do an A/B test and make sure that we're covering all the bases and we are ahead of the competition. So this is a great tool and it's extremely cheap, and if you want to be able to use it, the link is in the description. If you subscribe, then it keeps our channel alive. So yeah, thank you. Antigravity is between A and S. I would say it is the highest A tier product on the list today. It is an AI agent, and essentially you interface with it within an application. It creates some of, if not the best website content that you can create. So everybody who's creating websites using AI at the minute is slop. Essentially, they look really, really similar. It's always the purpley blue with the, all of the square background or square tools. Antigravity, because it's using the latest Gemini inside of it, really does start to step that game up, and also it starts to connect a lot of the other Google developer tools like Firebase and Nanobannan natively into it. So if you just want a one-stop shop for creating a web app, I would say that Antigravity is very difficult to beat. I would say it's probably the best tool available for doing that today. Perplexity Pro, I would say, is S tier. It is best of breed for deep research. It is not best of breed though for the kind of human interaction. It can feel quite robotic if you're trying to use it for that kind of humanistic feel to any tool you're trying to bake. So I would say it is S tier for deep research. It is probably B tier if you're using it as an interface essentially. So if you're a construction customer, let's say, and you want the look and feel to feel like you're talking to a person, whether it's a help desk or whether it's a help me find this thing, I would say Perplexity is not the right tool, but if you're wanting to build something that you don't want to be hallucinating and you want it to be founded on solid information, whether it's publicly available or within your databases, Perplexity Pro is definitely S tier. It's best of breed for that function. Grok is arguably A tier. Today it just beat the fastest or the highest percentage of reasoning. So I would say Grok is definitely up there. It has got some quirks. I think everybody's aware of some of the backlash when it's connected to X and some of the other platforms. Where I've had great success with it is actually we use Grok over the top of the Yellow app. So the Yellow app essentially is using your phone, use the camera, take a photo. Over those photos, it identifies the hazards. The hazards get put into a table, and basically the interface and the checking of the image, we use Grok essentially to identify those hazards, plus our MCP obviously, and it works really, really well, and it's fast, so and relatively inexpensive. So I would say Grok is definitely A tier. It's not S tier, but you could argue it's at the bottom of A tier compared to these models. So Nanobannan, I would say, is the top of B tier. It blows people's mind how good it is when you're going from text to images. Nanobannan is really, really good, but it isn't not perfect, and I've had some really mysterious things happen when we're doing things like certainly for content. So if we're doing storyboarding or we're doing for construction, to be honest, a lot of people are asking us now to create the automations where you put in a 3D model or a site layout and it ultimately creates like the blocky kind of white architectural look. Or it can create, you take the BIM model, and from that BIM model, you can make it look a certain style, or give you what the other side of the building may look like if you've only got one side. So, useful, not quite perfect, and I would say this is a space where it's really going to push in the next kind of 6 months. So, it probably deserves A tier, but I'm going to keep it as B tier because I know there's a lot more growth in that space. Zapier, last year would have been B or A tier. It used to be a competitor to N8N. It is a low code or no code automation tool which allows you to connect different AI models to it. A lot of people say it's not quite agentic. I'm not going to comment on whether it is or it isn't, but I would say I'm not the best person to compare the two tools because obviously I'm affiliated with N8N, and most of the projects we deploy for, whether you're a private bank or whether you are a fintech customer or even construction customer, most of the automations we provide are in N8N or directly in Claude code. So I would say we don't use it, but from what I've heard and my own personal opinion of it is that it's not as good as N8N. So coming on to N8N, N8N is obviously an S tier product. If you want it, please check the link in the description. It is an amazing tool, and you don't really have to have that much technical knowledge to be able to use it. Actually, they just released probably the most amazing AI interface you could imagine, where you can build these scripts. And all you need to do is connect the data sets using the GenAI interface. So yeah, N8N, no brainer. If you don't have it in your business today, then what are you playing at? And if you don't have it in your business today and you want to support the channel, check in the link in the description. Lovable, C tier. It used to be the shining, I think it was the fastest growing company at one point, or the most accelerating AI business. I would say every month that goes past, it falls down the rankings because the other tools are just getting so good now. So unfortunately, I really like the company, but in terms of what the tool is capable of compared to the competition, it is now a C tier. And for anybody who doesn't know what it is, it's basically you can write a prompt and you can start to develop software applications. A lot of people refer to this as vibe coding. It is a lot more capable in terms of building web apps than something like, let's say, a very simple Vibecode app. But I would say in comparison to Antigravity, it's incomparable now. Antigravity is miles and miles ahead of it. So yeah, use Antigravity. Sora 2, I'm going to put in B, but it probably should be A. In fact, actually, no, we're going to give it A. So Sora 2 is, if you've ever watched any YouTube shorts or Instagram reels or any of those, Sora 2 has dominated that space, and to be honest, sometimes I can't actually tell whether it's AI or not nowadays. And even the watermark, there's tools now that you can remove that. So Sora 2, I would say, is awesome for things like vertical short form content. You can quickly get to the answers, and also it's relatively inexpensive in terms of cloud tokens. So if you've got an AI or OpenAI subscription, which I know a lot of people in Hong Kong have, Sora 2 is a bit of a no-brainer for you. If you haven't got an OpenAI subscription, I would recommend not using Sora 2 and using Google VO, which we're going to touch on now. VO 3 or 3.1, I think it's on now, or 3.2, can't remember. Two models. One is the full fat version, one is the fast version. I have had the best success with the fast version, which is about 20% of the credit consumption of the large full fat model, and it's amazing. I mean, you choose the starting scene, choose the ending scene, write your prompt, away you go basically. So awesome, absolutely awesome tool. Still makes mistakes, still not perfect, but I would say it is the best tool available today. Even better than, I know a lot of people compare it to Kling, but I do really think that VO 3.1, I think it is, or 3.1 fast, is the best value to output that you can have for any video generation tool. And I'm releasing a video of a yellow app, which I spoke about earlier, which is the AI camera photo taking app. And inside that marketing video, that is probably 50% generated by VO 3.1. So keep an eye out for that if you want an example of how it can be used. And in terms of a cost saving for construction customers, one of the latest videos which we've just recorded for somebody used a lot of this. Now, the traditional shooting something, editing something would have probably taken a week and 100,000 Hong Kong dollars, around that, or 10 to 12,000 US dollars for the traditional edited approach. But because we used VO 3.1, we consumed around 300 US dollars of cloud tokens, and then dropped the price to about 3,000 US dollars for the shooting. So all in, it's around 50% cost reduction and about 2 times faster. So yeah, why not use it? It's good. If you're in Hong Kong and you can't get it, then you need to use a proxy. You can use Firefly. We use Firefly, but if you aren't an Adobe customer, then you can use Glyph, which is GLIF. that you can pay your tokens and then just consume the model. ChatGPT, I better not put on the last row, otherwise I'll be in trouble, is the poorest performer today, I would say. Although it is probably one of the most widely used by the general public, it has a very human-like interaction, and if you're speaking to it, it can be quite nice in terms of the responses you get back from it. I would say the only time that ChatGPT is ahead of the rest of them is when it comes to something like dictation, where you would use Whisper, and essentially that would give you good dictation. And actually, if you're interacting with telephone customers or things like that, then it's a good tool for using that. So yeah, kind of similar vein to Copilot was best of breed and now slowly slipping. But we're going to get on to probably the best OpenAI tool in my eyes, which is Codex. Codex is an A tier product, I would say. It is really good in terms of a cheap code generation tool. We don't use it because we're Claude Code users in our company, but a lot of people who I know use it, who are really reputable, swear by it. So yeah, take from that what you will. Claude, if you know, you know. 100% S tier product, amazing. If you've seen one of my posts last week, we posted about the fact that Anthropic, around 50% of their software engineers, are now using Claude Code for the development, and then just bug checking it themselves. I think this really is the time where Anthropic really starts to drive the professional AI users, not the civilians, essentially. Well, not civilians, not the general public, let's say, but the developer market. Yeah, I mean, Claude, it's the future, right? Claude Code, again, S tier product. I would say if you're a developer, you're not using Claude Code, you're probably not profitable. And again, if you are not a technical person, like I know a lot of my audience are leadership and management, Google is at the top of the game, to be honest, at the minute in that space. So Google Gemini is just and all of the developer tools are just way ahead of the competition, in my opinion, in terms of what they can do compared to how much consumption they use. So yeah, so that's my tier list. In summary, if you want to replace a person, let's say an administrator, or probably admin's probably the easiest thing, then Clawdbot, use that for sure. It's a little bit difficult to get it set up, but once you've got it set up, super useful. If you want to do deep research, use Perplexity. If you want to do automation and your people are not the most technical, or they're not the most familiar with AI and Gen AI, then I would say N8N is 100% best of breed. Check the link in the bio. VO is an amazing tool for video generation. If you're a marketing team and you're looking to generate images or not images, video, use VO3. For images, still Nanobannan probably is the best one. I know a lot of people still use Midjourney. I don't use it, so I can't comment on it. But yeah, Google, can't go wrong. Claude, again, the high-end models of Claude are expensive. If you're in that developer, prosumer space, then Claude is the best tool. If you are a general user and want the best tool that you don't want to interact with it in a technical way, then I would say Gemini is the highest or is the best tool to be able to use it for. Most of these tools on this list could probably solve around 70% of jobs that are human jobs in front of a computer. So even if you just take this software tier list and implement some of these platforms, you'll start to see value. If you need help with any of this, obviously we provide that service to help you get to the value. But yeah, hopefully this has been useful for everybody, giving you a bit more clarity in terms of what tool does what thing. And yeah, happy 2026. It's been a pretty good start to the year in terms of AI. So yeah, I'm expecting some really, really big things moving forward. Cool. Peace.